Thank you so much for being here. I feel like, you are serious. You've got Fellini books. Well, I'm sure you have a lot to say. It's hot. Now, I guarantee there are people here watching us. This is a film that, of course, was not only nominated for an Academy Award for Best Screenplay, but it won the Oscar for foreign language film. And I've seen on the American Film Institute, they call it one of the most influential films ever made. Why would you, as a filmmaker, call this an influential film?
Well, Fellini started life, my wife worked for him as an actress. And one thing she said to me on the phone this morning, she said he had the most wonderful sense of humor. He had a very wicked sense of humor, and he had a real taste for the human zoo. He used to collect people, and people that you will see in the shots. Have lots of you seen the film before? Well, it's a treat. Lots of the people that you see in the background, Fellini will have collected, because the great influence in his life was Rome Open City and Italian realism, and that was very important to link those subjects to the street. The great film was Bicycle Thieves, and that took place on the streets of Rome. And Rome Open City, which was Fellini's first job, not as a director. He's partly a writer and partly a first assistant director. Rossellini saw him and knew a good thing when he saw one, and coaxed him and helped him along. He won, are you ready for this, 5 Oscars. Unbelievable. This, I think, is his second film, and the reason for me to watch it and to venerate it is that you never knew with him whether he was making tragedies or comedies. And really the point was that he truly believed that all human life was portrayable. You could put it on the screen. And so therefore it was impossible for him, I think, to make up his mind which way it was. And certainly in this film, there are great stretches of comedy, particularly Giulietta Messina, who was his wife and his muse at the same time. They never had children, which must have been tricky. They had one who died, and they never did it again. But of course, he was in effect her child. He was a great genius. He was an immensely worldly man. They used to have, if you can believe this, on a shooting day, right? 8 o'clock in the morning to 6, 7 o'clock at night, they would stop for 2 hours for lunch, because Fellini and his friends and his visitors and his circus, there was always a circus around Fellini, needed to eat, and they needed time to discuss and discourse and generally to feel the warmth of the world around them, and that took 2 hours at lunch. They broke for 2 hours, and then, God damn it, they went back to work. How? I don't know. But the wonderful thing about him, and why he is partly so revered and also so influential, is that he had this taste for kind of the variousness of humanity. He could do humanity like nobody else could, and you will never know. In this particular film, for instance, from one moment to the next, you never know whether you're in a comedy or a tragedy. And of course, it's both.
And the cast is fun. First of all, sign me up for the Mike Newell film class, like as soon as it's available online. The cast is amazing. I mean, there's Anthony Quinn and Richard Basehart, but you mentioned Julieta Messina. For me, it's all about her performance, and so much of it is in her face. What astonishes you about her?
What?
What astonishes you about her performance in this?
Well, the extraordinary thing, again, about Fellini is that he does not encourage you to split the performances off from the drama. That everything is one. Everything is woven together, everything belongs together. And so it's very difficult to tell you, except that what you know is that she is a simpleton. In the very first moments of the story, Anthony Quinn buys her from his mother, her mother, and pays good money. The mother is perfectly happy to sell her daughter, happy to get rid of her, I expect. And she then, she dominates the whole film. She says at one point, I have to look after you because you can't look after yourself. Well, I think probably Julieta Messina deeply believed that about her relationship with Fellini. And certainly, I think Fellini was probably an awfully naughty boy from time to time.
But not with your wife.
My wife, let's say to them, I can't remember. My wife worked for him as just an actress. In almost the last film he made, and one of the fascinating things about Fellini is he goes from this, which is about his second film, Oscar, all that stuff in Rome, making Rome open city when the Germans were still in Rome fighting. They made a movie around the city, and he was a great survivor, but I suppose in the end what made them stick as a couple was that she was wiser than he was. He was a firework. He was naughty, he was funny, he was a kind of musical entertainer. And I don't think she was. I think she was calmer and quieter. And at the same time, what you've got is this extraordinary portrayal of somebody who is simple in the way that we used to, the sort of bad way we used to use that word to describe people who were less than there. Except that she, of course, has this extraordinary trick in the performance of being less than there, but more than you could ever possibly expect. And in the end, she's the rudder for the whole shebang.
It's a gorgeous performance. And I'm so glad you guys get to see it on a big screen. I have a schedule to keep. I could listen to you for hours, but you have teed it up beautifully. Mike Newell, thank you so much for being here.